And then there were 8. Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome here to our first race of the round of 8, race number 30 of the debut season of the PCSRA Busch Series. 2 weeks ago, we had our first elimination race for these drivers as we whittled it down from 12 to our Elite 8. And we're going to tell you who those 8 drivers are in just a bit. Lucas Albon on the pole position. In the 59, he is 20th in the points table, looking for his first win of the year. Tico Jumiaka, 24th in the points, looking for his second win on the season. J Littletown in row number 2, who is also a former winner this season. And Suni Su, 26th in the points, still looking for her first win on the year. Littletown's looking for his second win on the season. You would have to go all the way down to 5th, where you'll find our first of our playoff contenders. That would be Jay Green. As you look at the rest of the starting lineups, let's tell you the 8 drivers that are still in the hunt for the championship. They are Azar Amirmoez, who is the points leader by 10 points over Annika Ricci, 20 points over Jay Green. Malin Lease, 23, back in 4th. And then a tie for 5th is Drake Robertson, Lucy Myers, Elizabeth Gardner, and L Bata. Those are your remaining 8 drivers battling in this season's chase for the championship. As the cars are rolling off, hold on, as now the field is rolling off right now on the grid. A lot of our playoff drivers starting near the rear of the field. 2 weeks ago at Pocono was our first elimination race, which saw the departures of L Pelekai, Danny Rant, Darby King, and Brad Blackmon, who are the 4 drivers eliminated from the championship after our race 2 weeks ago at Pocono. And because none of our 8 drivers, or none of the playoff drivers that won in the first round, everybody's on equal ground as far as that is concerned. For Azar Amirmoez, Richie, Green, Lee, Robertson, Myers, Elizabeth Gardner, and L Bata, one goal is simple. You win today, doesn't matter what happens at Dega and Homestead, you will be battling for the championship, regardless of those 2 races coming up. Getting ready for the Kansas Lottery 300. Pace car is off. Race number 30, but more importantly, race 1 of the Elite 8 is green. Let's go racing, drivers. Had only one caution in yesterday's Truck Series first race of the round of 8. As I just dropped my phone. Hold on a second, let me get my phone. Sorry about that. I just dropped my phone. I had to pick it up. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. J Littletown did get a win, but it was too little too late for him to make the playoffs as far as I'm concerned. Here comes Jay Green, the 6th. He knows what's at stake, along with Lucy Myers. Either of those 2 drivers go to victory lane. Does not matter what happens the next 2 races. That is a ticket punched into the Final 4 to compete for the championship at Toronto. Jay Green has been somewhat consistent as Littletown just booted Lucy Myers out of the way kind of rudely. Of course, you have 8 drivers battling for a championship. You have another 32 drivers who don't care about the playoffs. They want to go to victory lane as badly as possible. Keep in mind, for the 12 drivers that made the playoffs, they're going to Winston Cup next season, which is nice. They're going to be trying to get some deals done in the off season with the Winston Cup teams. And we might see them on the grid full-time next season. Jay Green currently the leader. Of course, we went back to Green around this time yesterday in the Truck Series race. Of course, it is a cloudy day today, unlike yesterday's truck race where it was sunny and slick. And the track had a lot of grip. Just having a peanut butter cracker for a little snack before dinner as I'm recording this. Jay Green has had a very good season. Let's see, 2 wins, 7 top 5s, 9 top 10s, 3 poles. And he's led 74 laps this season. You would kind of think Jay Green is thinking about the championship 4. He's thinking about Toronto coming up. Right behind him is Brad Blackmon, who just recently got eliminated from the playoffs last week, or 2 weeks ago, excuse me. He's looking to finish off what has been a good season for him. Tico Jumiaka running in third. And there's Liliana Beta. Of course, Diego Marquez not in the playoffs. Liliana Beta, the last hope for RCR. She's up here inside the top 5, and she is the second highest of the playoff contenders. So as things stand, it's looking very good for the Payday Chevrolet of Liliana Beta. And you think about the season she had in amateurs, it was awful. But Cody has given her a good chance. So far, she has made the most of it. And her never give up attitude. Whenever she was below the 25th position in the points in the regular season, I saw one sign of Liliana Beta, and that is never give up. And that 21 team has never quit fighting. Liliana Beta never gave up, kept herself positive, and look at where she's at. And she could possibly go from amateur series struggles to possibly a champion, believe it or not. Wouldn't that be one of the most interesting storybooks we've had this season? Of course, Jacob Tutu did that in the Monster Energy Series in 2023 when he was struggling at the early part of the season. But then when we hit the road courses, boom, all of a sudden, Jacob Tutu went from struggling to a serious title contender and just railed off wins as the caution is out, is worth the midway point of today's race. But to finish on Liliana Beta's point, she wants to win this championship just to prove everybody she is not a one-trick pony. As the caution's out, a little bit later than our truck race yesterday. Now the big question is, were any of our 8 playoff drivers involved? A lot of smoke on the back straightaway. Something tells me something's not good. K Langeland's involved. Lucas Albon involved, Landon Ching, Tula Tapola, Jimmy Baker, Diego Marquez involved, Suni Su, Darby King, who was just recently eliminated from the playoffs. Looks like she's got a hood buckle on her Silver Air Patrol Chevrolet. Looks like none of the playoff contenders were involved in this caution, so that's good. Caution's out for the first time today. It's worth the halfway mark of this race. Let's jump back, look at the replay to find out what caused this first yellow here in the Kansas Lottery 300. This is what happened. Looks like Diego Marquez just got right rear hooked by Tony Lopez, and that took both cars into the wall, did some pretty significant damages on the Oban Ford and the AC Delco Chevrolet. And as those two were coming down the racetrack, I think the spotter was not paying any attention, or Justin Hugo. Trying to see who turned him. Oh, Danny Rand, who just recently got eliminated from the playoffs, got in the two. I think the two spotter was not paying any attention. And there's where Jimmy Baker gets a piece. Tell you what, Luna Farmer did a brilliant job missing that. Landon Chang. Annika Ricci might have got a piece of it. That's a playoff contender. I didn't realize she was involved. Noah Parker got a piece of it. Nowhere for Tula Topola to go. Kyle Langeland had nowhere to go. There's the 59 into the 29. Oh, this was a massive wreck. And looks like the 46 is going to clip 29. Yep, that's what happened. But Annika Ricci, one of the drivers battling for the championship, I don't know if she has any damage to the right side of her yellow Dodge. I think she might have just gotten away with it. And we're going to check to see if she did get any damage. And looks like she didn't get any damage. She went on the apron for some reason, but there's no out of bounds here at Kansas. So caution's out for the first time today. Let's jump to the restart here at Kansas. Getting ready to go back to green flag racing with 10 laps of racing to go. Jay Green is the leader. Tico Jumiaka is second. Brad Blackmon, who was recently eliminated, in third. Liliana Beta fourth. Fifth is J Littletown. Lucy Myers sixth. Morgan LeFay seventh. Elizabeth Gardner eighth. Ninth is Taylor Valley. And 10th, Justin Hugo. Now we know 4 of our remaining 8 drivers in the playoffs are running. We'll look at the rest of the 4 drivers that are in the playoffs in just a second. Out of the race, 6 to be exact, non-playoff contenders, thankfully. Kyle Langeland, Lucas Albon, Tula Topola, Diego Marquez, Jimmy Baker, and Landon Chang all are out of the race. 34 drivers on the lead lap. Let's find out where the rest of our 4 drivers battling for the championship are. We've already mentioned the 81's in there. Malin Lee, as we're back to green, is 16th. Annika Ricci, 21st. Drake Robertson, 24th. And where is the 13? And Azar is running in 12th. Okay. Okay, so those are where your 8 drivers are. They're all inside the top 30 in the running order. Jay Green looking for his 3rd win on the season, but more importantly, to punch his ticket into the championship 4. Boy, this is going to make these next 2 races really crucial, because if Jay Green wins this race, like I said, he's in the Final 4. He could have a poor race at Talladega and Homestead. He's still going to fight for a championship. Brad Blackmon trying to make sure that doesn't happen. Remember, Blackmon got eliminated from the playoffs, and he no longer has his playoff flag on his pit box. You also have drivers like Liliana Beta, Lucy Myers, who are also running well. They could be putting themselves in very good situations going into Dega next time out in 2 weeks. The one thing we did see in our Truck Series race is lap traffic that came into play and really decided who was going to win that race. Up here comes Blackmon on the inside of the 6. You have about to be 4 of our playoff contenders up here at the front. Green, Beta, Myers, and also the 81 you saw of Elizabeth Gardner running the Oreo colors this week. Blackmon leads. There goes Bata. There goes Myers. Elizabeth Gardner going to go to the inside of the 6. Liliana Bata is now the highest of the playoff contenders. And remember, if Bata, Gardner, or Myers win, they're in the Final Four regardless what happens the next 2 weeks. But all 4 of them, as all 4 of our playoff drivers are inside the top 5 right now. They're just fighting over who's going to win this, who's going to be the points leader heading into next race in 2 weeks. Malin Lee running in 10th. Azar in 12th. Annika Ricci dropped to 20th and Drake Robertson 22nd. Those would be currently the 4 drivers in the danger zone going into next week, as we're going to have a very interesting race next time out at Talladega. Two to go. And of course, Brad Blackmon enjoying the view. Sadly, he's disappointed this one was not an elimination race, or he would have been in the Elite 8. But as I said this before, and I'll say it again, a win is a win. He will definitely be happy with a win or a good result after getting eliminated. And look at this gaggle of cars. This Beta is starting to drop back just a bit. Jay Green's gone by to the inside. Oh, should I mention we're at the white flag presented by Credit One Bank one more time around Kansas? So we're on the last lap of the race. Lap traffic will not play a factor. Jay Green will more than likely be the points leader heading into next time's race in 2 weeks at Dega. But off of turn 4, Brad Blackmon sadly was eliminated. He will win the Kansas Lottery 300 here today at Kansas. His second win on the year. Sad to see this happen after he got eliminated, but still a great result nevertheless for that 87 team. Jay Green, who led a majority of this race, will have to settle for second, but the good news for him, he will be the points leader heading into our next race in 2 weeks at Talladega, excuse me. Taylor Valley third, Jake Littletown fourth, Elizabeth Gardner fifth. She'll be second in points. Justin Hugo sixth, Liliana Bata seventh, Lucy Myers eighth, Azar Amirmoez ninth, and Malin Lee 10th. And here's the big surprise: Malin Lee top 10. She could be in the danger zone heading into next week's race, but still a good result for her. As we had 5 of our playoff contenders, where did the other 3 finish? Annika Ricci 18th, Azar Amirmoez 19th, and 25th for Drake Robertson. So we can basically already know there's going to be a couple of drivers that could find themselves in the danger zone, but some had some good runs, so this could make it a very interesting race at Talladega in 2 weeks' time. Take a look at the rest of the finishing results here. A lot of drivers out of the race after that. Noah Parker was the last car to finish on the lead lap. K Langeland, Lucas Albon, Tullitz, Diego Marquez, Jimmy Baker, Landon Chang did not reach the conclusion of the race. And Tony Lopez has been asked to see the Busch officials in the hauler for intentionally putting Diego Marquez in the wall. Why? I don't know he did that, but there's going to be some bad blood between Lopez and Diego Marquez. Hopefully it doesn't carry over into Dega in 2 weeks' time. But regardless, this was a very good race we had, and we had a very good race also in our truck series. So this race weekend has been really exciting, what we've seen as far as the racing, even though we've had one caution between the 2 races here this weekend. But tomorrow is going to be the one that's really going to be exciting, because it's an elimination race for the Winston Cup Series drivers, and 4 drivers, sadly, will be eliminated from the championship as we go to their Elite 8. But back to today, Brad Blackmon, who recently got eliminated, gets his second win on the season. Hope you guys enjoyed today's race from Kansas. If you did, be sure to give this video a like. Subscribe to become part of the PCSRA crew today. We've shown your full finish results, your playoff points, and point standings are down in the description heading into our next race in 2 weeks at Talladega Super Speedway. We're going to finish up this race weekend with our elimination race, our second elimination race for the Winston Cup Series drivers. And then next week, it's just Winston Cup Series coming to you from the Mile and a Half racetrack, or coming to you live from Darlington Raceway for the Southern 500. Hope you will not miss that. Should be a lot of fun. Until then, I've been D DeVolt signing off. So long from Kansas, as you've been watching yet another broadcast of PCSRA TV, where champions are made since 2010 and 15 years as the best in the racing around the world since 2017. We'll see you tomorrow for the elimination race for the Winston Cup Series.